Hi guys, Sarah here. Sarah Richardson, always think up, always think up, always think up. I don't know what's going on with my thing, so we're just gonna keep rolling and just hope it works. I can't keep shutting it off. Alright, so for those who don't know me, I'm a light worker. I'm a barber. I'm a barber instructor. And I'm in love with my life. So you guys see me and I get on here and I do these videos and I get some really cool stuff, right? So thank you all who have been sending me messages and emails, and you keep me flowing and you keep me knowing that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. You know, sometimes when you're out here and you're working for Source, you really don't know what you're doing. You feel it, but you're like always questioning, your ego is always questioning yourself. So, you know, I've had a couple people bumping up against me lately, and I really love it. So, mwah, if you've been bumping up against me, I love you for bumping up against me. So, a couple of these people that were bumping up against me started talking about thoughts are pointless, right? Well, you know, I don't want to say that I'm so right, but I've been on this, guys, for like 10 years. So, if you haven't been like into this thoughts thing, I think you're stuck. Angels aren't real. So my great cousin, he's great, right? So he got on my post, and you know, everyone who's bashing me, they're saying this stuff out loud. So thank you, because you know, I even get messages from those things. So you're keeping me great, right? Um, Angels aren't real. That is not right. Angels are real. Angels are really, really real. I do a lot of my work with them. We can't see them, but you can sure feel them, and you can feel what goes on, right? Another thing that I'm getting is, you know, God is punishing people. People think that God is punishing them. Um, you know, guys, when you're thinking these things, when you're thinking of the bad things in life, I'm not saying that bad things don't go on, they do. But when you're thinking of them and when you're living from those points about thoughts are being pointless, God isn't real, angels aren't real, God doesn't care, see you. That's disease. That's disease. So people talk about disease in the Western medicine field about, you know, fibromyalgia or certain things like that. And, you know, if that's what you're dealing with, I'll send you so much love. Disease to me is dis-ease. So dis-ease. And that is exactly what you're going through. There's dis-ease in your energy field, right? So as a light worker, I study energy. Um, you know, it's been a little bit of everything. So I'm a laws of attraction girl. I love laws of attraction. I'm a chakra girl. I love the chakras. Um, the laws of attraction came into my life about 10 years ago and rocked my world. I started to think about the things I was thinking about. And I didn't know at that time that my thoughts were worse than a scary movie, guys. You know, anything that I thought of, I used to always go in with the think the worst, so whenever the worst comes, you're ready for it, right? Hey, Stretch, I love the love on here. Mwah, mwah, mwah. That's what I used to do. I used to think the worst, so when the worst came, I felt like I could be like totally ready for it. Um, you know, I had a knee injury when I was a young girl, 13 years old. I was just a young girl. You know, I was just starting to be feeling myself, and then all of a sudden I get this terrible knee injury. I was mad. I was in major pain. I didn't know if I believed in anything, let alone God. I used to yell at God and say, why would you do this to me? Why would you make me so young and be sitting here hurting? And now that I come to you guys today, I can tell you, God sat my ass down. You know, I was that physical type. I told you guys I came from building houses. In my family, it was like, get busy, get to work. We didn't have time for lazy people. So in my mind, in my mad, I was feeling lazy because I couldn't physically get up and do the things that my family was doing and things like that. You know, I spent a lot of time questioning God. So I would, thank you. I would get in my journal or by myself, and I spent a lot of time by myself in these times, right? I tried to push everybody out. I didn't want to hurt them by the way I was hurting. So I spent a lot of time by myself. I wasn't really by myself, though. God was right there the whole time. And he heard me. I used to cuss him out. Yes, I love you too, Ruben. Mwah, thank you for the love. Um, so in my mad, you know, I went through some life things. So, you know, I'm here to tell you guys that when bad things are happening in your life, I know it's really hard. And a lot of the emails I get, they're really hard things that you're going through. And believe me, I send you all my love. So if you have hard things, don't stop sending them. I'm going to keep sending you love. Sometimes just to have someone pray for you helps. So send that out. Let people know this is what I'm pushing, right? Um, so, I was going through some things, and here my knee injury was starting to take me out of work. We have this barber mom. She's kind of been all around us our whole entire lives. And she came up to me and she recommended that I go to this chiropractor. I wasn't sure, never really been to a chiropractor, wasn't sure if it worked. I walk in, it was in an old church. I wasn't really sure. I was raised Catholic, trying to change my ways, got in touch with God, but I was not sure if I was doing anything right. So I get to this guy's office. It's in a church. It's weird. I didn't know what I was doing. So I walk in there and I'm thinking, is God going to be like, girl, what are you doing? So I walk in and there's this guy and he's light. That's all I noticed about him. He was just so light. He was happy and he was light and he was like kind of like floating around this place. So I lay down and I'm like, this is the weirdest thing ever in my life. I noticed that I just took this really big breath as soon as he worked on me. So he's a light worker. He's a chiropractor. And he does this really special modality called network spinal analysis. So if you guys know my YouTube channel, Always Think Up, I do a little interview with him. We have a part 2. I can't get it through yet because my IT is trying. But that is the day that I learned about healing. So I had suffered breathing problems my whole entire life. I had asthma, when the winters would come or whatever, I would couldn't breathe. And the first thing I noticed about going to see this man was I took a giant deep breath. Went about 6 months and I was like, yeah, I don't know what that was, but I want to go back there again. So I went back a couple times, and here, come to find out, like about 4 or 5 months later, this knee injury that had plagued my life for about 10 years, and I say plague because it was terrible. I didn't feel cute. I didn't feel worth it. I didn't feel great. So when I tell you guys to feel great, I know some of you are like, I can't feel great from here. I get it. So when I say I get it, I really get it. I lived it. And it took me a long time to get to this place where I can tell you guys, like, what I do is great because it fills me up and I know that it fills me up. And what happened in this healing was it connected my mind, body, and spirit together. And people that I do coaching with say, well, what does that mean, Sarah? So, we're more than just a body. We have more than just a purpose of whatever your family was born with or whatever your gifts you were given that your family passed down or something like that. There's more, right? So you have this body, and it matters how your body feels, because when your body feels off, then your thoughts are destructive. The spirit's always kind of just sitting there kicking it, knowing that you're great. So in this healing, my body healed, and then it lifted so much up off of my mind. So my mind began to open, and I know that my spirit was just like, yay, finally, she feels good. I was so excited. I was all over the place. I was up and I was down. I was all over the place, and I was in the barbershop. And so anybody that I was meeting that was going through some kind of disease or disorder or something, I was like, oh my gosh, you got to go try healing. This is the most amazing thing. It works for everything. I'm telling you, it's just you're just a little off in your energy. Well, I was battling people with, really severe diseases, really severe problems. So I went up and down and all over. And people, I'd be real excited about it and I would say it, and then somebody would knock me down, and I would get nervous, and I would go back in my hole and I would get ready again, and I would come out and the same thing would happen. So I started to pay attention to those little things. When I say be great, I mean it. Watch your words. This is something that I say to my friends every day, my family every day. Don't talk things into your life that you don't want. So, I have a really great girlfriend of mine, and she wants to be in love, and that's all right, right? So she said, well, I'm just going to be alone. And I was like, no, girl, you can't say that, because that's not what you want. She's frustrated because of what keeps coming into her life. I get that part. Normally, if something keeps coming to you, it's something trying to teach you a lesson about yourself. It's not about that other person. So you try to blame the other person. It's not the other person. It's you, right? And so another question that I get is, how do I look at people and relationships and sex and God the way I do? because God taught me this, right? So, God is cool, man. God, source, universe, creator, whatever you want to call him, right? He's cool. He's super cool. So, mistakes, yeah, I made them. I made plenty of mistakes. I still do. I still do. Today, I was getting so frustrated with my daughter. She wouldn't eat her dinner. And I'm like, you have to eat. You're taking antibiotics. I couldn't force that down her throat. You can't make people do the things that you want them to do, even though it was for her nutrients and her health and her life. There were all these good reasons why I wanted my baby to eat. And she was like, no, I'm not having it. And it's the same thing whenever you're talking relationships, when you're talking sex, when you're talking God. Guys, I get messages about how could you be I'm an ordained minister. And I talk about sex, and I talk about God, and I talk about disease, and I talk about these things because God made all of these things, guys. So if you want to bump up on me and you want to say that what I say isn't real, I'm not worried about what you say. I went through this journey, guys, I was searching for God for a long time, and I didn't want to hear anything that anyone else had to say. I wanted God to tell me. And so I was hard-headed. And a lot of us are hard-headed too. And I had a lot of really great people come into my life and drop me these seeds that were just amazing. But I was like, nope, I want it from God. And so, God created energy. God created chakras. This whole mind, body, soul thing, this has been before, Jesus. I didn't just come up with this. So everyone calls it new age, just to put a label on it, just like addiction, just like fibromyalgia, just like all of these things that they can't understand, right? And so people say, well, how can you be so sure? I feel it. When I ask a question, it answers. Whenever I'm unsure about what I'm doing and I sit down and I ground and center and I think up, then God tells me things that are going on. Why do I know that this works? Because it's happened to me. So I'm not going to promote something to you that I'm unsure of, right? So do I make money from Always Think Up? No. Do I make money off of my energy work? Yes. I'm a licensed massage therapist. Do I make money off my massages? Yes. But do I do it to be cool? No. I'm doing this so everyone can heal. I want to see everyone heal. So you guys know I'm all about peace on earth, love and donuts, whatever the heck. Drink coffee, have fun, enjoy your friends, stay up late. You guys know my resolution for this year is to be silly, be fun, have more fun. God promotes this stuff, guys. So, I have so many people saying so many different things that sometimes I get lost in these videos. So, I get people that email me and they email me all this love and how much I've encouraged them. And if I have encouraged you at all, thank you for telling me. If you never told me, that's okay. It keeps me going because, on the other side of the love, I have a lot of friction and I have a lot of people bumping up. But I was ready for that because in healing, if you guys are anything like me, you're going to be tough as nails. I have this McDonald's cup because it holds up good, but I just keep rinsing it out and putting my coffee in there because that homemade coffee is just the best. I need one of them fresh bean machines because I really like that too. All right, so God hears you guys. He heard me. I wasn't anything special. I'm not anything special. In fact, I'm from this really little piece of Pennsylvania that's like this big. I graduated with like 52 people. You guys all rock my socks if you're on here. I'm not a big deal. I'm not a big deal. I'm not a big deal. However, God coming into my life made me know I really am a big deal. This life really is a big deal. If you want to, yes, Kaylin, if you want to float through life and not create, then I love you anyways. But, I had this man really bumping up against me about, you're supposed to be thoughtless to teach you that thoughts create is wrong. Yes, Ruben, I am special, but I'm trying to just get down on a regular level to say, like, a lot of people that were talking to me about God, they made it sound like you had to get to him this way and that way and this way and that way. And if you're not like of the purest light, then you're not welcome there. If you make mistakes, then please stay away from my church. God's not that way, guys. And those guys are wrong. What was Jesus doing? He was walking out amongst us, right? So the disease, the hurt, you're mad when you're in this life sometimes. You go through some hurtful things in this life, but God doesn't punish you. Things are going to keep happening and working in your life, but the one thing that we have is free will to choose, right? So we have the free will to choose what we stay in, what we get involved in, and what we stay involved in. We have the free will to choose where we want to work. We have the free will to choose what we want to think. Um, and like I said, always think up is for everyone. So this guy who doesn't think that thoughts create, I don't know what he does for fun. That's what I spend most of my time on, and it really works. And I mean everything. So I'm not really, I'm just digging into this. And like I said, I'm working on being the best deliberate creator alive. Right now, I have created so much abundance in my life that I don't know how to explain it to you. Does that mean that everything's perfect right now? Nope. Does it mean that I love the imperfection of it all? Yeah. And why do I love that? Because I'm so strong? No. Because God is inside of me. And so when I'm fearful of things, I just give it to Him. When I'm mad about something, I just give it to Him. When somebody bumps up against me, I try to love it like He would. Everything isn't for everyone. Everyone isn't for everyone. People change. People go different ways. Yes, yes. I'm not different, Ruben. I try to make this simple because I get a lot of emails that people think that I'm like this super angel light being. And so I just try to get it regular for everyone. We are equal, and I love you, Ruben. And, we kind of been vibing since the beginning. So we are very equal. And thank you for, bringing me back to that. We are all children of God. We do all have very, very unique gifts, and they're for us to cherish and hold and believe that we have them. So, part of my journey was I was kind of like embarrassed to tell everyone in the world that God wants me to be a light worker. God showed me this crazy thing in my life with chakras and energy, and I love it. And it fills my body up with so much passion. And even when I was like unsure of it, I still loved it because the things that people were saying were like great things. God brought all of us to me. I went to all kind of different churches. I got saved like 9 times just to make sure that God knew like this was for you, buddy. So my advice to you out there is your thoughts are not pointless, and they do create. God is so real, and He created angels, and I really think that in my getting to know Him that He doesn't care what you call Him. You can call Him anything you want. I call Him Papa. He still came. He wants you to be great. He wants you to be great. He wants you to own it, right? So about 8 or 9 months ago, I've been studying this stuff for a really long time. I've been doing really good with it. At least I thought, right? But people need other people, right? So I got my shirt on again. And what does that mean to me? It means that no matter what, someone's in your life for a reason, right? And sometimes there's more than one reason. So about 8 or 9 months ago, I have a person in my life who our actions together with one another, they hurt me. I'm trying. I do try. I pray. I give it my all, and then I pull away with everything I have to because it hurts, right? But about 8 or 9 months ago, that person that hurt me brought somebody amazing into my life, amazing and fantastic. Yes, yes, I love you, Ruben. So somebody that was in my life, and we were fighting all the time. There was so much friction all the time, and I would try and regather myself and go back, and still same thing, same thing, same thing, same thing. So, whenever I get a phone call from this individual on my phone or a text message or something, my stomach hurts. So the one day I get this phone call and my stomach hurt, and I get on the phone and they're like, I got somebody on the phone that I think that you will just love. And so this person puts this fella on the phone, and he was exactly who I needed right then, right? So somebody that was really hurting me and ripping me up and tearing me down brought somebody into my life that I needed. And so you guys are going to probably wonder, why did I need him? So I've been on this journey, guys. This was just 9 months ago. So I spent all these money on classes. I've done all this kind of work. I put together all kind of data research projects to do on healing and how it works for everything and everyone, no matter what, right? And, you know, he asked me, what makes you great? And I was like, oh, you know, I'm just regular. And I pulled out one of those, like, I'm just regular. And he was like, oh no, oh no. So for a couple months, you know, every time we linked up, he made me run through this list of things that were great. And so I want you guys to do that with yourself. So, you know, I never owned lightworking like this. And now I own it because I love it. It fills me up. You know, I was always unsure of, you know, if I was doing right for God and to dive into it like that, because a lot of my friends were, you know, in the church and they were pastors and things in the church. And I'm like, well, if I'm of God, then why is this coming to me and exciting me like this? It must be sin. And I went through that for a little bit. No, guys, don't do that. So, you know, also there was a time months ago where I thought that reading tarot cards or something was not of God. And then I had this girl give me a reading, and she did energy work on me with Christ energy. If you're not into God and you're not into Christ, you're not going to throw that energy into a session, right? She's of God. She's just using her gift, using her expressions. Does that mean that I think that the pastor at the church is not of God? No, I do believe he's of God. You know, he's learning, he's teaching the way that he learned. I respect him. I respect everyone out here. You know, even the people that don't